Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. We love you dearly. Thanks for coming on. And it's Q&A Friday, and we got lots of questions to get to. So isn't that going to be fun? So, okay, let's see. As you get your notifications, I'm always interested who's going to come up number one on the hit parade. And it's okay. Who's going to say hello here? I don't. There it, Jocelyn. You're number one on the hit parade this morning, as far as I see. Nativity, Andrea, Rosalinda, and from Niagara Falls, Kevin from Oshawa. Hi, Kev. Lorraine, BC. Good morning, Lorraine. Bright and early. Carol in West Virginia. And Lucille, how are you? Judy, nice to have you on. Barishan, how are you? Rosa from Montreal. Sylvia from MISSI Fran, Orangeville. Janice from Brampton. Dave from Muskoka. And Cecilia right in Sudbury. Marla says she loves me. I love you too. Dennis, Sunny Norwich, Denise, Oakville, Elana, how are you? Sharon from Kansas, Karen from Innisfil, Ontario. Heather is in Miramichi. Lily, Cochrane, Ontario, Northern Ontario. Bonnie, Annandale, Minnesota, and Marine's in Boca Raton. How are you, Marine? Danny, Iron Bridge. Carol, Mount Pearl, Newfoundland. Cheryl is in West Virginia. Wendy is in Markham. Cheryl is in Lighthouse Cove. And Gail, Blindheim, Ontario. Linda, New Brunswick. Linda, we love Linda. Janine, how are you? Linda, another one from Uppsala. And Glenna, how are you, Glenna? In Tiny, Ontario. And Nellie, how are you, Nellie? Catherine. And Linda, love those. And Patricia's in Pulaski, Tennessee. Karen is in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Lisa, how are you? Donna, Newfoundland. Phyllis, West Tennessee. Phyllis, did I see you in West Tennessee when I was there, Francis, 2 weeks ago? Be 2 weeks Saturday. Darlene, Donna, Sharon, Beth, how are you? Luella, I met you, Luella. I know that for a fact. In West Tennessee, Martin, Tennessee, and Kristen and Milika and Rita, thanks for coming on. Lisa's saying hi to everyone. Judy, Port Perry, Ontario, and Ornella, how are you? Okay, let's get to the question. Sharon's asking a question. Okay, got asked this a lot. I used to get asked this a lot when I was in practice. Just wondering what Dr. Martin thinks of estrogen vaginal suppositories. Well, I think, Sharon, I've been very consistent about this. To be honest, I don't like estrogen. Not that you don't have estrogen. You got lots of it. And we live in an estrogen-filled world. And adding extra estrogen, listen, I understand why doctors do it, okay? I understand that, okay? But, and this is a big but, estrogen makes you a woman. But estrogen is a growth hormone. Cancer in food loves sugar. Cancer in hormones loves estrogen and insulin. And cortisol pours gasoline on that, another hormone. I wrote a book, 2 Hormones That Want You Dead, insulin, cortisol. But I've often talked about estrogen because, like I said, almost every chemical mimics estrogen. It mimics it. Your body thinks it's estrogen. The body, and that's why we see so much, it's part of the reason we see so much breast cancer and prostate cancer in men. It's an estrogen-driven cancer. So insulin drives it and estrogen drives it. So now you're asking me a question about, Sharon, about the vaginal suppository. Well, if it was me and I was making a suppository, I'd have progesterone in there in a bioidentical form. Okay? Much safer. Better for you. Because what progesterone does, one of the things it does, it helps to balance out estrogen. Okay? So that's me. And I understand I'm in a very small minority of doctors that believe that way. But again, I have my reasons for it. It's not just, I'm trying to pick on women. I have lots of experience with hormones, okay? And I've seen this tens of thousands of times. So there's my answer. Am I going to tell you you can't do it? No, I'm just warning people. I always did. I wasn't big. I was very proactive in practice of helping to balance out hormones. Okay, so hold on a sec because somebody's asking me a question. Let me see if I can get, because I just went through these. Okay. I'm going to do Sandra because we're on the topic, okay, of hormones. Does your hormone supplement, okay, menopausal supplement, increase progesterone? Yes, it does, okay. I liked Prometrium a decade ago, but I couldn't continue. Now she's at late menopause. Current family does not prescribe for my age of, she was late menopause when she was at 57. Now she's 73, Sandra. Sorry, Sandra. I didn't read it. Now you're diagnosed with spinal osteoporosis, okay? I believe progesterone helps bone health. Yep, it does. Progesterone helps your bone, for sure, okay? So if you were in my practice, I'd have you on vitamin D. If you're not taking it, you need to take it with vitamin K2 so that calcium gets delivered to your bones. I would have you doing resistant training. You can do it at home. You don't need a gym, but you better get your bones strong because get your muscles strong because if your muscles make your bones stronger. Because they latch in there. They anchor into your bones. Stronger your muscle, the stronger your bones. Would I have you on taking calcium? No, I would have you eating calcium. Eat a lot of eggs, meat, and cheese. Because there's lots of calcium in that. Plus, it's surrounded by vitamin K2. Vitamin K2 is found in steak, in meat, in dairy, and vitamin K2 comes naturally with calcium. That's the way God built so that it would be delivered to your bones. Taking a calcium supplement won't do that. So I never gave anyone calcium supplement. I said, no, do you like eggs? Yeah, well, eat it. You got lots of calcium in there. You like dairy, like cheese? Oh, I love cheese. Good, eat it because you got calcium and K2. Meat, calcium, K2. By the way, K2 is not found in the plant kingdom other than in a few mushrooms. Okay. Thanks for the question. Gail, lipodema. Okay. Now, if you ever see a picture of lipodema, it's fat in the legs. Okay. Lipodema. And why? Poor circulation, maybe some genetics, poor drainage. So medicine recommends compression socks, maybe some exercise. I would have you on Navitol because it's a powerful. It's good for your blood supply because it starts right at the bottom of your blood supply, the capillaries. It elevates your nitric oxide. So does vitamin D, by the way. It elevates your nitric oxide for better circulation. Just sun. I was reading a study yesterday. Just the sun hitting your skin elevates your nitric oxide. Man, you are a human solar panel. But listen, Gail, I'm just going to give you, there's no magic for lipodema. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. But you can get better. Okay. Kathy is asking me about Neurobella. Never heard of it, by the way, but I looked it up because it contains lutein and zeaxanthin. I can't remember what else. Look, I mean, I got no problem with it. If you like it, Kathy, you got to understand where I'm coming from, okay? Am I biased? Yep. I'm very biased. But it's not based on, nothing. My bias is based on my clinical experience, okay? Like I had real patients with glaucoma, macular degeneration, diabetic retinopathy, cataracts, okay? Now, I was big on diet, always. My PhD was in clinical nutrition. So I start with food, but my experience is this. The two best supplements, you put them together for eyes, and there's hundreds of thousands of people that will testify to it. High DHA, because your eyeballs are made of DHA fat. And DHA, you're regenerating, you're replenishing. It's the most powerful of all omega-3s. It's very good for your brain. It's very good for your heart. It's very good for your eyes. And when you combine it with pine bark, Navitol, and you should see the research on pine bark and eyes. Because it gets into the root of the issue. The root of the issue is circulation behind the eye. Have you ever looked in behind an eye? I was fascinated. I never forgot the picture that I saw when I looked in behind the eye. Man, it reminds me of Tirana. What? Well, all the highways, 403, 407, right? The Don Valley parking lot. I went to school in Toronto. And it was the parking lot back then. The traffic, but, they built new highways, okay? The 427 and this kind of thing. But that's what's in behind your eye. Blood supply, and sugar destroys blood, okay? So But you need to regenerate. That's why I like that combination. So when you ask me about what is it called again? I looked it up and I can't even remember. Okay. Neurobella. Like I said, I never heard of it before you asked, Kathy. But I just very biased about it because of my clinical experience. I showed ophthalmologists and optometrists who always loved lutein and elderberry for the eyes and that. They did, and I like that. It's all right. But I found something better. And I said, can I prove it to you? Can I prove it to you? You're going to measure the eyesight. You're going to look at the glaucoma. Is it getting better? You're going to look at the macular degeneration. Is it getting better? Are the cataracts getting better? Is the retinopathy getting better? Yeah. Well, this is what I did with those patients that are your patients. Okay? I know. Kathy, merci beaucoup for the question. Okay. Patricia, human parasites. Okay? Which approach would you use to eliminate it? I'm not sure which path to venture into, medications or herbs. Okay? Two scenarios are a person present taking allergy medication, antihistamines, right? It's a Zyrtec, Zyrtec, and Advil. I don't understand that for parasites. I don't understand that even a bit. Like an antihistamine. That ain't getting rid of no parasites. Advil ain't getting rid of no parasites. It might help with the symptoms a bit. But that ain't getting rid of parasites. And by the way, everybody has parasites. Okay? Everybody. Now, okay? If you have a pet, you got parasites. Okay? And to some extent, we can live in a sort of what we call a symbiotic relationship as long as they haven't invaded the tissue and they're not getting into the bloodstream. But here's what I do for parasites, because parasites are very similar to yeast. Okay? They're bottom feeders. They like junk. So when you start with nutrition, you don't feed them. Remember my statement? Don't feed the bears. Sugar is what they really like, and garbage food, processed food. You're feeding them. And they'll feed off your tissue too, by the way. So what do? Well, don't feed them, one. Make an environment for them that they can't stand. And that's why if you're not taking probiotics and you have parasites, you can't win the war. It's an impossibility. Like, I understand there's anti-parasitical medications. They're talking about cancer and even using an anti-parasite to kill cancer. Am I against that? No. I'm not again. Hey, if it works, hey, because some doctors believe that all cancers are parasites. Man, I don't know if that's true. I'm not necessarily buying that. I think most cancers are fungal. But anywho, whether it's fungus or parasites, you better be on broad spectrum probiotics, especially L. reuteri and L. rhamnosus. Okay, which we have in our formula. I don't leave home without them. Renew, replenish, replace. Probiotics all the time. You need that. Food, no sugar, no junk. You're feeding them. And then get very aggressive. One of the greatest anti-parasite is oil of oregano. Okay? It's antifungal. It's antiparasitical. It's a natural antibiotic, and it's even natural antiviral. So be aggressive with probiotics and oil of oregano, and don't feed it. So that's my way of doing it. Of course, you want to be drinking enough water because you gotta, your liver, if your glutathione is up, and this is one of the reasons I would even add Navitol to it, because Navitol elevates glutathione. If your liver is empty, glutathione is elevated. Glutathione is Velcro in your body. It attaches itself to those parasites and fungus and heavy metals. Okay? So that's what I did in my office, and I could prove it because I showed them parasites, either in their stool or even in their blood. I said, okay, we got to get rid of them and don't feed them. Okay? That was Patricia. Okay, thanks, Pat. We appreciate you very, very much. Thank you for coming on and asking a very good question. People ask me about parasites all the time. Quit sleeping with your dog. The dog's on the bed. Or the cat. Cats are worse. Oh, I'm not saying get rid of your pet, okay? I didn't say that. Don't come after me. Rhoda, how are you, Rhoda? A friend of mine has been diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver. Cirrhosis is the final stage of liver disease. Okay? It's the final. Fatty liver is the start. Then you get sclerosis, and the liver is starting to scar with scar tissue, and then you get cirrhosis. And the liver is very regenerative, okay? Let me just tell you about your liver for a second. You ain't living without your liver. You can't. It's sort of a Rodney Dangerfield organ, because people don't ever think of their liver until they get sick. Okay? They get liver cancer or cirrhosis or fatty liver. And most people with fatty liver don't even know because doctors don't test for it. Okay? And young people, kids, got fatty liver today. I never thought in my lifetime that I would ever see fatty liver in a child. But it's the start of the downward trend in the liver. And so cirrhosis is final stage. Your liver, though, is very regenerative. Okay? You can cut your liver in half and it'll grow. It'll grow back. Okay? But when it becomes cirrhotic, I don't know if that's a word, full of cirrhosis, can you regenerate it? Going to take a miracle. Okay? It's going to take a miracle. I've seen it happen in all my years of practice. Once, maybe twice. Not easy, okay? Okay, what else? They told her to reduce salt and limit water with liver. I'm trying. I can understand if she said they had chronic kidney disease. Reduce water. I know liver, when it ain't working, will build up fluid. You need water, though. I don't necessarily if I agree. And, I can't see salt, but I understand. I understand what they're thinking. I had to think about it for a minute. Because when your liver is shutting down, you bloat. I've seen that. And your belly becomes distended, and, it's not a pleasant sight. So I guess they want to reduce the fluid intake and that. I can understand it. Do I necessarily buy it? The water's so good for you, but, maybe diminish it to some extent. You see, she has been in and out of hospital various times with fluid fluid buildup in her lungs and abdomen. Yeah, because when the liver shuts down, that's what happens. That's what happens. It's very grim. Her prognosis is, Rhoda, is poor. I would probably, in my days of practice, I'd put her on a coffee enemas and, to try and detox the liver as much as possible. Anywho, it's not fun. Shelley's mad at me. Not really. She just said, you have said, you said that you don't like people eating seeds and nuts. Well, you're not a squirrel. And you're not a chipmunk. They're overrated. Now, I like flax seeds, right? I allow that. Here's my problem, okay, Shelley? Here's my problem. I saw thousands and thousands of patients, one with digestive issues, okay? Big time. Bloating and diverticulosis and IBS and irritable bowel, SIBO, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, all these things. The bowel has a sunburn. Okay? It's irritated. Do you take sandpaper and go over a sunburn? Nah. So here's me. Here's what I did with patients with tremendous results. Are you eating nuts and seeds? Stop. Listen, Linda and Larry's out there. Listen. Stop. You're irritating your bowel. Okay? I know you were told that fiber is the greatest thing you need. Nah, you're getting too much of it. And I want you to stop. Because your bowel has a sunburn. Do you know what I mean by that? It's not from the sun, but it's got a burn. And you're irritating it. So stop it. And we're going to cut you off all that fiber that you think your bowel needs. It's just bulking up your stool. You don't get a prize if you got a big stool. There's no prize. You don't win prizes. Okay? Because your bowel is irritated. That's one of the reasons. Nuts and seeds. Okay? Now listen. You want to have a few nuts and seeds and your bowel is very good and you don't have any issues, and if you're not on the reset, have some. Okay? Have some. When I had my weight loss clinic, okay, it was amazing. Like I said, they were always snacking, but they said it's healthy, Dr. Martin. It's nuts and seeds. I said, will you quit eating? You don't need it. You're not a chipmunk. You're not a squirrel. They get nuts and seeds and they put them away for winter to get fat. They get fat in the winter like a bear. What do you think those squirrels do? And the chipmunks? Right? How do you get fat? Well, it's one of the ways. Anyway. So that's me, okay, Shelley? She said, I have recently eaten nut butter ground almond, pumpkin, chia, sunflower seeds as a treat and now have a raging eczema. Eczema. Well, Shelley, obviously you and those nuts and seeds don't get along. So you don't need them. They're overrated. Okay? They're overrated. I'm telling you. I'm not saying I don't like them. Like I said, I like flax seeds because they're good for you. Okay, that was Shelley. Thanks, Shell. Grace, what's a natural mouthwash? Okay, what you don't want to do is use alcohol of any kind because you're stripping away the good guys with the bad guys. You're carpet bombing your mouth. You don't want that. You don't want mouthwash that said it kills 99% of all germs. Well, there are good bacteria and bad ones. Why do you want to wipe out your good ones? That's why I like oil of oregano. Because it don't kill your good guys. It only kills your bad guys. Okay? And you can use it every day. I know you go to your health food store or sometimes naturopaths and they don't use it all the time because they're thinking of an antibiotic. And if it was like a normal antibiotic that you get with a prescription, I would agree with them. But it's not. It's a natural antibiotic. But it don't kill your good bacteria. That's why you can use it every day. It's a gift. God gave it to you. Use it. I love oil of oregano. Oil of oregano, by the way, owes me money. Okay? Whoever owns it, I'm laughing about that, okay? I used to tell them that. When I had a radio show in Sudbury, and we went around, I was syndicated, the highest sales for oil of oregano was in Sudbury, Ontario, Canada. And, people in the oil of oregano business said, why? Well, have you not heard of Dr. Martin? No? Well, he talks about it every day on his radio show. Oh, yeah? Yeah. And I used to say, you guys owe me money for advertising for you. But I love oil of oregano. I've never found a natural antibiotic as strong as it is. And it's good for you. It's an antioxidant. It does so many things, and it kills the bad guys, including parasites that we talked about earlier on the program. Why would you not love that stuff? Now, it's like Buckley's. It tastes bad, but it works. Like oil of oregano, guys. You take it and then you pray. Okay? I used to say spray and pray. Okay? Spray and pray. You take a few drops, but you can dilute it. Thanks, Grace. Okay, Christine. If our bodies have trouble absorbing vitamins, minerals, and protein, would we experience any symptoms? Maybe. Maybe, for sure. You're never going to have the energy levels. You'll get your B12 levels checked and find out that they're low. They're not optimized at all. Your magnesium levels will be low. You're not digesting protein properly. Yeah, you can look at, ridges on the fingernails. I used to look at hair, skin. I was very observant, okay? I remember a few ladies, okay? Dr. Martin, you're in my space. Because I was this close. I was looking at them. I said, no, you're in my space. See this office? This is my office. You come to my office, I'm going to look at you. My dad taught me some tricks. Observe. Look at their skin. Look at their eyes. Look at their eyebrows. Look at their hair. Get them to stick out their tongue. I was very observant. Most people appreciated it, some didn't. You're too close, Dr. Martin. Well, I'll tell you what. You came to the wrong place, because I'm all over you. I gotta look. I kind of laugh because some patients tell me, okay, that when they go to their doctor, he or she are on the computer and they're not even looking. I get a migraine. I used to look at women and without testing them a lot of times, I say, you got estrogen problems. Your estrogen's coming through your ears. What? Well, I can tell. I look at your skin. I look at your eyebrows. I can tell you your thyroid's not working properly. I'm looking at your eyes, and you got problems. So when it comes to digestion, okay, vitamins and minerals and your macros, protein, guys, the biggest problem with that is not your gut, it's your stomach. And the vast majority of North Americans, they don't have enough acidity in their stomachs. You only want to be acidic in one place in your body. Where is that? In your stomach. The rest of you is alkaline, or it should be. Okay? Your blood's alkaline. But your stomach needs to be more acidic than a lion's stomach. And when you don't eat the right food, your pH in your stomach changes. It becomes more alkaline, and then your body goes, without that acidity, you see, you should be able to swallow a penny and it will dissolve. That's how acidic your stomach should be. And that helps you not only because it's a defense against bacteria and viruses that come in through the upper respiratory tract and through your eyes and through your nose and your mouth. Okay? And your stomach is one of the big part of your immune system to that extent because it's so acidic. And then it breaks your food down. One of the hardest foods to break down is protein. You need it. You can't live without it. And for it to be broken down properly, you need a very acidic stomach. And most people, because of what we eat, we've completely turned our bodies inside out in the way we eat. Because we're carb loaded, we're sugar loaded, we're plant loaded. People eat plants more than they eat from the animal kingdom. And they eat so much sugar and processed foods. And your body wasn't designed for that. A plant eater, a cow, has 4 stomachs. Why would they need 4 stomachs? To eat plants, because they're not easy to digest. Okay? Cows eat grass, so you don't have to. I eat steak. Okay. Anyway, yes. Answer to your question. Okay? Absolutely, yes. You can have digestive. That's why I love digestive enzymes. I take them every day with a broad spectrum of lipase, amylase, protease. And we even put oil of oregano in our digestive enzymes. Holy smokes, Dr. Martin, why would you do that? Well, for a condition called SIFO. The world calls it SIBO. a bacterial overgrowth, but it really isn't. It's a fungal or yeast overgrowth. It's SIFO. We put olive oregano in it. Okay, even in our digestive enzyme, we put in a probiotic in it. It's really, really important to kill H. pylori and keep it at bay. Okay? There's a reason, guys, for my madness. Okay? You say, Dr. Martin's crazy. Yeah, it's true, he's crazy. But there's a reason. I do things. We do things. Okay? Okay, I better stop there because we got, the next question's a good one too. Wendy's asking a question about appendix. Oh, I want to bring that out because it's very important. Okay, yeah, we got enough. We got enough for Monday for sure. For sure. Okay, let's do that then. Because I've been diatribing. I have been pontificating. I'm very opinionated. Have you ever noticed that? Okay. I try and be a nice guy, guys, but sometimes I get animated. Okay. I love this audience because you guys are incredible. Okay. The PhDs, I would hand out to you because you guys are smarter than the average bear when it comes to nutrition and health. Let me tell you that. That's my audience. I always wanted to educate. I was an educator. You know what the term doctor means? Teacher. Better learn to teach. And I taught my patients. I love that. Okay? I teach them. Understand how your body works. You don't have to be a medical doctor to understand basic principles. And we're going to give you that on this program. Okay? Thanks for watching. We love you dearly and sincerely. And we see you next week, Lord willing. I always say that because Lord willing. Love you.